Would you have would you have the guts to do this, Pete?
Ow! Most people try to avoid getting stung by nettles, but what if I told you that the stings could actually be good for you? Urtication is the practice of intentionally stinging the skin with stinging nettles to treat pain and inflammation. When you brush against a nettle, the tips of tiny spines called trichomes break off and inject a whole load of chemicals into you. Interestingly, a couple of the things in a nettle sting are serotonin and acetylcholine, neurotransmitters that help with happiness. But in case you're wondering why you don't feel happy when you're stung, it's because you're also injected with things like histamine and formic acid, triggering urticaria, also known as hives. And of course that stinging and itchy sensation we all know too well. But here's the amazing part about nettle stings. The reaction you get from a nettle sting can actually help reduce inflammation in the body. It might sound crazy, but for centuries people have practiced urtication. As a reminder, that's intentionally stinging yourself with nettles to treat conditions like arthritis and joint pain. Science backs this up. Nettle stings stop the body from making certain inflammatory chemicals, which means less pain, less swelling, and even reduced dependence on medication. Nettle stings have been shown in clinical studies to help in this way with osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. Anecdotal stories that I've heard also backs this up. I've heard feedback from people who suffer from arthritis in their hands getting quick relief from urtication, and even someone who said that being stung on their hands by nettles relieved their symptoms of arthritis, even though their arthritis wasn't even in the area that was being stung. Now, some people cynically claim that it works because the nettle sting pain takes your mind off pain elsewhere in the body. But to reiterate, there genuinely is more to it than that, and the stings do have an effect beyond just that. Another interesting story that I've heard is from a man called Goran Pavlovich who suffered from terrible hay fever. And he posted on Facebook a few years ago about how a man told him to pick a bunch of nettles as soon as spring starts and to sting himself with them and to repeat that once a week until autumn to help treat the hay fever. Goran went on to say, and I quote now, "Apparently this would make my immune system concentrate on nettles and forget about the pollen. To my wife's horror and the amusement of the fellow walkers in parks and forests, I soon started the therapy. This is my hand in the nettles bush, and lo and behold, it worked. I haven't had any problems with pollen for 3 years now." So next time you get stung, don't just think of it as a nuisance and a pain, think of it as nature's own anti-inflammatory. Would you be brave enough to try it on purpose? Don't worry, I totally understand if you don't want to. That's why I do crazy things like this, so you don't have to.
And that's very nice of you to do that for us.